In basketball, emotions can run high, and no one shows it quite like Caitlin Clark.
When the game turns physical,
When the game gets rough or the refs stop blowing the whistle, her reaction is instant. You can see it in her expression, hear it in her voice, and feel it in the way she pushes back. These moments reveal the pressure she carries and just how badly she wants to win. Here are
kicking it out. Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down.
some of her most intense moments, each one more fired up than the last. Let's start with a moment that shows just how quickly things can heat up when Caitlin Clark's under pressure. On January 10, 2024, during a game against Purdue, she stepped onto the court fully locked in. You could see it in how she moved, how she stood, and how sharply she read the game. No words needed, but that kind of focus can stir things up fast. Just seconds in, her teammate Kylie Furbach takes an obvious shove, a clear foul. The ref lets it go. Caitlin snaps. She yells, expecting the call. Instead, she gets hit with a technical.
Met with some contact. Clark is upset she gets teed up.
Yeah.
The latter part of the game.
Yeah, you could tell.
No warning, no second chance, just the cost of showing passion. When that kind of treatment starts early, it sets the tone, and for Caitlin Clark, the pressure just kept building. It didn't end with Purdue. Game after game, it followed her. On March 23, 2024, in Iowa's matchup against Holy Cross, it boiled over again. After a quick steal in the backcourt, Clark sprinted toward the basket, ready to take advantage. But before she could make a play, she was surrounded by...
Early, it forces the defense to spread out. It opens it up for 22 to go to work. Clark with the steal. Has it knocked loose. Working on the smaller defender, triple teamed.
They used their size and strength to shut her down, knocking the ball away. No foul
for a technical.
Inside.
Was called. With no options and no whistle, the frustration was obvious. Clark reacted instantly, bouncing the ball off her own head in frustration, while voices from the sideline shouted for a technical foul. This wasn't just a one-time outburst. It was the result of non-stop contact, heavy pressure, and calls that never came. For Caitlin Clark, it was starting to feel like a pattern, and that pattern didn't end in college. It followed her into the pros. On July 17, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings.
But right now, they're just thinking about winning this ball game. Clark quickly gets it up court, then got it knocked away. Odyssey cradles it.
It showed up again. With just 45 seconds left, Clark drove the ball up the court, the only Fever player in motion.
Welcome back to Dallas. Caitlin Clark upset with herself.
But as she crossed midcourt, she was met by a triple-team defense. No foul was called. She tried to make a play out of nothing, but it quickly fell apart. And so did her patience. After the play, she turned to the sideline, grabbed a water bottle, and threw it across the court, a clear sign that months of built-up frustration had finally spilled over again.
With 7:36 to play in the fourth, and she hasn't shot the ball well. Scrambled, tied up. Sheldon, Clark.
Just when it seemed like the pressure couldn't get any heavier, it did. On February 25, 2024, during a high-stakes game between Iowa and Ohio State, Caitlin Clark found herself in another tense moment, this time with guard J.C. Sheldon. Midway through the game, Clark was clearly fouled. Sheldon grabbed her left, hand right in front of the refs. Then came a second hit, all in one sequence. Still, no whistle, no call.
Kicking it out, Evans fakes the three, takes the two, and knocks it down. 50-50?
50-50.
Moments like these take a toll. Getting hit on back-to-back plays with no call only adds to the frustration Caitlin Clark had been carrying all season. And it wasn't the last time she'd run into someone willing to play rough. On June 1st, 2024, during a WNBA game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, things with Angel Reese reached a breaking point. Reese, who's known for turning up the intensity whenever Clark is on the floor, delivered a hard shove, with her arm and elbow knocking Clark to the ground. The contact might have looked like a routine foul during a rebound, but in real time, it was anything but subtle. The refs let it slide, the crowd reacted, and Reese added to the moment with some taunting that only made things more intense.
Her field goal percentages actually go up.
Moments like this have become part of Caitlin Clark's WNBA journey, taking hits, staying up, and letting her game do the talking. And with every shove, she pushes back even harder.
Trying to draw the foul. Referee signaled to count it.
Oh my.
What's the verdict?
Moments
But
like
it
these
hasn't
only
just been
added
the
to-
physical play testing her patience. Sometimes, it's the officials. Back on January 10th, 2024, during Iowa's game against Purdue, Clark hit one of the toughest shots in basketball, a clean half-court buzzer beater. According to research published in the Journal of Sports Science, the odds of making that shot are just 1 in 100. It should have been a highlight. Instead, it was waved off.
12.
Here she just loses the handle. Alyssa Thomas able to come up with it.
The
This
ref
time.
called a foul on Clark just before she let the ball go, wiping out what could have been one of the season's most memorable plays.
Takes the foul there, which you can't do. That's a big difference from college to the pros.
She was already in motion, fully committed to the shot, but it didn't count.
Let's take a look.
And it's this
The play was erased, and once again, Clark's frustration showed. Like these only added to the pressure. Clark wasn't just up against tough defenders, she was also fighting for fair treatment and, at times, for recognition. But the missed calls didn't stop. They became routine. On May 20th, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever
After that foul call on Aaliyah, but this one I think is a
and the Connecticut Sun, she found herself in another tough spot. First, she was clearly bumped on a drive. Then, as she lost control of the ball, her arm was grabbed. 2 obvious fouls, no whistles, nothing called. This time, Clark didn't stay quiet. She turned to the ref clearly angry and made sure her frustration was heard.
Comes off a stagger on the weak side, but she comes off a pin down here, wide open.
Victoria Vivian's an old Indiana.
Readers had no trouble catching her words. She didn't hold back. At that moment, it was clear. Clark had hit her breaking point. This kind of treatment is what continues to fuel Caitlin Clark's most intense moments on the court. One of the biggest came on August 18th, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm. After missing a shot, her frustration spilled over. She slapped the backboard padding in anger. The response was immediate.
But if they're open, she will find them. Martin commits the foul. Clark thought that
Still, there are times.
The whistle blew, and she was hit with a technical foul for what the officials called disrespect to the game. And just when it seems like Caitlin Clark might finally catch a break, another moment shows up to test her. On May 30th, 2024, during a game between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm, Clark had just drained a 3 and was jogging back on defense. That's when Victoria Vivian stepped in and delivered a forearm straight to her chest. Up to that point, Clark had done everything she could to stay composed through the chaos. But for many fans watching, this felt like the breaking point, the moment where enough was enough. This time, she wasn't alone. Her teammates stepped in to defend her, one of the rare moments when the weight didn't fall entirely on her shoulders. But for Caitlin Clark, The challenges don't end when the game does. Off the court, she faces constant scrutiny, uneven treatment, and a steady stream of criticism, often just for being one of the league's biggest stars. The pressure to stay calm and composed never really lets up. You can see her trying to hold it in, always expected to stay professional. Even her own father has been seen stepping in, asking her to tone it. Still, there are moments when the pressure becomes too much to hold in, and that's when Caitlin Clark shows what she's truly made of. With all eyes on her, tough defense is expected. But sometimes it crosses the line. Sometimes it even feels personal. What sets Clark apart isn't just her talent, it's how she responds when everything's on the edge. She doesn't back down. She locks in. The energy shifts. The crowd leans in. And just like that, the momentum swings her way. That's what makes Caitlin Clark unforgettable. If you enjoyed reliving these moments, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Which one had you shouting at the screen? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.